Hi Dakota, how you doing? All right, thank you for including your poster. Now look, I'm gonna have to do a lot of scrolling here because the PDF, there's no PDF, and I like to have a PDF so that way I can zoom out. We can take a look at the whole composition itself. So right now, so please excuse the scrolling, but I'm gonna have to. It's the only way we can get from the top to the bottom of the poster. Okay, so now I'm going to give a little caveat here. I'm going to go ahead and say this is going to be a really difficult critique. And the reason is that this is a good idea. I see the schoolgirl, I see the head, the hair, the sleeve, and the hand up. I see it. I'll be honest with you, the only reason I'm seeing it is because I was told it was there. Okay. Which leaves us in a really precarious predicament, and that is that what do we do? It's a great idea. Pulling it off is going to be really difficult, and I think that the difficulty is going to lie in the fact that this is not a household name. Malala Yousafzai is not a household name, so we can't really depend on familiarity with Malala to be able to really manipulate this to make this a face and make this a hand. Okay, please, you're more than welcome to try. I think one of the top, I'm sorry, my big dog's right over there. You probably just heard him shake. He's getting a little restless. Anyway, I think one of the issues here is the fact that, and this is where I wish I could zoom out. So this is so prominent. The M and the Y is just sucking up all of the hierarchy in this, partially because it's different from everything else based on its shape. It's bigger than everything else, and it's brighter than everything else, not because it's using a different color, but since it's bigger, it's just drawing more attention to the color. Okay, so in this composition, all eyes go right here and follow this line. This doesn't really even stand a chance with this configuration right here because it's, as I said, it's sucking in all of the hierarchy. So listen, the reason I say this is such a difficult critique is because it's a great idea, but it's not working. And you're more than welcome to continue trying to work on it, or maybe even to create a different concept. You're a good designer. I've seen your work. You do very, very good work. But this is a tough one. This is a really, really a tough one. And I hate to sound discouraging, I really do, but Dakota, I don't think it's working out as well as maybe some of the other considerations through your sketches and such. So moving forward in this direction, I would recommend this. I would just go ahead and present the M and the Y. Because right now there's so much meaning. You're trying to create too much meaning. So we've got meaning based on that background pattern, where you have meaning established by the large letter forms. You have meaning established by connecting the M to the Y. You have meaning established by the different coloration in the first name. And you also have meaning with the placement of each individual design element, okay? So that said, I would recommend, if you want to do this, okay, I would just use a regular M and just really concentrate on creating meaning using this. Now, how do we develop this? My recommendation would be to close that down, that space between the arm and the face, or in other words, in between the L and the A. Maybe even tucking that L behind the A so it looks more like it's coming up as a shoulder, as being a hand being raised. I'll tell you what, you could even do this. You could take Malala, A, just regular A, just keep these yellow, all of these. Then in the last one, create that hand being raised, take that open counter of the A and just reduce the size and bring it right over here so it looks like an eyeball, all right? And maybe even embellish with some fingers coming off the hand. You see what I'm saying? So there's no question. Now what you're doing is you're creating a solid relationship between a girl raising her hand, a young schoolgirl raising her hand, and what Malala stood for. Right now it's too abstract. It's not there yet. Okay? So, so until you get that down and really establish solid, I would freeze everything else, right? but I would highly recommend that you go ahead and skip the background pattern, skip the large M, the large Y, and the fact that they're connected, and really concentrate on your relationship, typographic relationship using this typeface, well, the first and the last name, and then establishing this as the meaning that the meaning created by, this being a girl raising her hand. Okay, then the girl who stood up for education. That is going to make sense. That tagline is going to make sense for this, and I think the whole thing can get tied together quite nicely. It will work. Right now, and you know me by now, Dakota. I'm honest. I'm as honest as I can be in my critiques. I don't want to sound discouraging, but right now, as is, it's not working. Can it work? Absolutely it can work, but think about meaning. Think about you as the viewer looking at something and saying, okay, this doesn't stand a chance because this is just too prominent. The background is interfering with meaning here. The placement, this is so far from this. The only connection being made is this. So we know they're connected, we just don't know how, right? And then the tagline is so far down in the composition, we don't know if there's a relationship between the tagline and what's going on up here, right? It's just a simple matter of fine-tuning, Dakota. That's all it is. All right. Those are my recommendations. I hope I'm making sense. Let me know. Let me know if I'm making sense. Please just shoot me a quick response to this and just tell me if I'm making sense or not. If not, I will gladly make another video because, again, I don't want to sound discouraging because this is a fantastic idea that just isn't happening, isn't working just yet as is. Okay, that said, I do want to bring up one more point. Right here, you're saying, please, please, please help me figure out how to make this more obvious. There comes a point in time where you, as a designer, have to look at something. And there's an old quote in design, don't fall in love with an idea. Meaning that if it's not working, it's not working. So don't try to force it if it's not working. I'm not saying this is not working. I think it's a great idea. I think it will work. But there comes a point in time in every student designer's career to understand that if something's not working, we have to abandon it and start over. Okay, and I'm not saying that here. I'm not saying that's the point here at all. I'm saying the concept will work. We just really need to revisit from the top. Okay, questions, comments, concerns, clarifications, please let me know. And anything you want to run by me between now and the time Sunday when you turn in your final iteration, please feel free. I'll be glad to provide additional comments. Thanks, Dakota.